Seconds. There we go.
There we are. We are live.
We are, yeah. So yeah, this whole idea that I came up with, yesterday?
Yeah. Yeah, this was kind of a, hey, do you want to? Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure. I figured maybe you'd say like, maybe in a week or two. But I was like,
no, why
okay.
not? Well, so the whole point here is that, I mean, you and I have talked about the Sopranos for a while. I mean, that's a show that we have talked about.
Yeah.
And a few months ago, like I don't know if I was drunk or what. But I was probably, I mean, I'm half drunk now. I'm not like completely, I'm half in the bag. I mean, come on. I mean, I know this is streaming live, but like anybody watches this later, it is New Year's Eve. Well, it's New Year's now, I guess, for me. It's still New Year's Eve for you. I've been drinking for 5 or 6 hours. I'm not schlitz, but I'm close to it. So I don't know. It's a couple of months ago. I was writing. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. This is a story that no one cares about, but I'll tell it anyway.
So
I was watching the Paradise Lost documentaries, right? Like the movies.
Oh, I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, the West Memphis, right. That thing. And there's the one guy who he's the one father of the victims, which you got to feel bad for him. I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
but
he's a piece of work.
Whatever. Yeah, dude, he's completely crazy.
He's crazy.
And I was watching it, and I messaged a buddy of mine. I was like, dude, this guy's the stuff he says is so outlandish. I could write an entire album just of crazy stuff that he says. and I went downstairs right here in my little studio. Yeah. And I grabbed my guitar, and I suck at guitar, but whatever. Like the guys the stuff that he says is just crazy. I was like, oh my God, I could write it. So like, dude, I swear to God, a half an hour later, I had a song.
He makes Alex Jones sound really
no. Yeah. Oh God. Like Alex Jones has tried to say he's faking it. This guy clearly is not faking it.
He is not.
So I'm like, all right, I'll write a song about it. I was like, all right, dude, this is so funny. Then I sat down like a day later. I was like, oh my God, I got to write another one. This is so funny. You know?
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to spit on it. Dude, it's so funny. So anyway, when I was done with that, I was like, oh my God, what other things can I write songs of that are just random quotes, right? I did one on, oh God, what else did I do? I did one on
that old guy that's getting arrested.
Oh my God, yeah, the
Chinese dinner,
the Chinese dinner guy, right?
Yeah.
Which is the best thing ever, you know.
It is, yeah.
The
Pure class,
Chinese,
that guy.
Right, the succulent Chinese meal guy. Look, my peanut. No, he's great. And then I did one on Frank T.J. Mackey from the movie Magnolia, which I've never seen the movie Magnolia. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Like I've never
heard
seen
of
it. But Tom Cruise plays a motivational speaker named Frank T.J. Mackey, who his entire job is to just tell guys how to be better with women.
Oh God!
Like literally like the most famous line. And I'm going to go right out here and just say vulgarity. It's good. Vulgarities are coming, but he comes right out and he's like, respect the cock, tame the cunt. Like it's so good that
I go to that seminar.
I made an entire ballad just of him.
He's a living legend, and he doesn't even know.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. And then I did one on True Lies, right? Like, if you've never seen the movie True Lies,
I love it. It's fantastic.
Bill Paxton. He's like, "What a spy piss himself!" Like, okay, I had to make one on that.
I think we both know the line Bill Paxton says that I won't even say.
Which one? Because I'd probably say any of them.
The 10-year-old boy.
Ask like a 10-year-old boy. No, it's. Well, anyway, so I was
only in the 90s to say something like that.
Well, right. I mean, come on. It's actually one of my favorite movies. I mean,
I love it.
I'm admittedly a huge Tom Arnold fan. Like I'm a huge.
I am too. And it's the last great Arnold movie too.
It's oh God, it's probably I'm thinking of Tom and with Tom Arnold. The only other movie he's done since that he ever did that again was oh man, hold on, give me a second. I got to look this up. It's what's the name of the movie? It is Exit Wounds.
Oh yeah, with
have you ever seen Exit Wounds? Right,
Steven
Seagal and DMX. Where
DMX? I was gonna say there's a rapper in that.
And Anthony Anderson and him and Tom Arnold are just they're just great. They're really really great in that movie.
Yeah, Tom
And
Arnold's he's gold, man.
I love Tom Arnold.
He's underrated, really.
I was a huge Roseanne fan.
So was I.
I
Great
loved
show.
it. Well, yeah, I grew up in a city called Erie, Pennsylvania, and if you've ever watched, Lanford, it's exactly like my hometown. Like the bar they go to is every bar I ever hung out at growing up.
Was Roseanne? Did that take place in Pennsylvania, or was that
it was Lanford. I think it was. What was it? It was in. I don't know if it was in Michigan, or Ohio, whatever. It was one
That's
of the.
What I thought. I thought Middle East or Middle East.
It was a Rust Belt city. Whatever you look at it.
I kind of want to say Illinois, but I could be
wrong. It very well might. I mean, it doesn't matter. It was. You got to figure like Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, upstate New York, like all of those Rust Belt cities.
True.
But long story short, cities that basically border the Great Lakes are the easiest way to think about that, right?
Yeah.
The Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior, like those things. Yeah. And but even so, if you watch that movie, like Lanford is 100% like my hometown. Like it's you would think you were at the same place, right? I mean, the bars are the same and all that. So anyway, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but anyway, I grew up watching Roseanne, and I love Tom Arnold. Well, so anyway,
and John Goodman, another one of my favorites.
I mean,
one of my favorites.
How do you? He was like everybody's dad that I knew. Like everybody I knew growing up was either that was their dad, that was their uncle, that was their older brother. It was somebody.
Yeah. That's why that show is so good, is you could connect to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I remember Roseanne Barr saying that she was sick and tired of Kurt Cobain getting credit for starting grunge. She's like, I started grunge. It was just called White Trash in a Trailer. And I was like, okay. I mean, like really, like it was, she nailed it. She nailed it perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the point I was getting at was when I was writing these songs, dude, these were literally, they're terrible. There's nothing good about the songs that I wrote. But
they're entertaining, at least.
Well, they're entertaining, sure. But seriously, it was like 2 or 3 days. I just wrote these. I mean, they're terrible. But one of them,
I think that was the point, though. I think
no, that was absolutely the point. It was kind of, it was very like, I don't know. It was very like mid-90s Ministry kind of sort. I mean, it wasn't industrial. But if you think of like Psalm 69, right? I'm sorry for anybody who's not into metal that's listening to this, but like if you think of like Psalm 69 by Ministry, that's the best way that I can describe it.
And I love that album.
Oh, so do I. I'm not a Ministry fan.
I'm not either.
That album is incredible. Filth Pig was but that album is really, really, really good.
That's awesome.
And so anyway, long story short, one of the songs I made was about a character named Ralph Ciparetto, which we will not talk about Ralph Ciparetto, other than the fact that when you get to Ralph Ciparetto on The Sopranos, you'll be happy he's there. Like him or hate him, I mean, by that point, there are characters on The Sopranos that'll just, they're just awesome.
Yeah,
and
I'm still getting used to the names and stuff.
Sure,
it's hard at first because they kind of blur through it, And I'm like, what's that guy's name?
They're all the stereotypical Italian names.
They are, yeah.
There's 100 Tonys and Sal. I mean, seriously, it's all the Joeys and the Tonys.
Yeah.
It sounds like a horrible, stereotype, but it's true. They do that on purpose.
Yeah.
It's New Jersey. Yeah. It's all the stereotypical Italian names. All their last names end in a vowel. I mean, it's meant to be that way.
Yeah.
But I think it's season 3. When Ralph Ciparetto shows up, like the whole show is just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I have a mild obsession with Ralphie. And he's played by Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I wrote a whole the stupid song I wrote was just samples of him being him, and he's a total douche. And well, anyway, that to back up, that kind of started a whole conversation of like, I showed it to you. He's like, I've never seen The Sopranos. Like, okay, stop, pause.
Yeah, I still like the song, but the references are over my head.
Well, you totally have to watch The Sopranos.
And what that might have put the seed in my head that day, because like
totally spilled.
I was thinking about it, like why did I choose now to watch this? And it might have actually been that might have been like kicked me into it.
It was either that. I mean, I was probably just driving you nuts. I was like, oh, do not watch The Sopranos. Well, I mean, because so like. I wasn't late to The Sopranos, but I was a few years late to The Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
Meaning, like I was maybe 3 seasons had been out. I'm not entirely sure. I did not watch it on HBO when it first came out. I watched it. I worked at a Blockbuster, like that kind of thing. I got the DVDs a couple of years later.
Yeah.
So I think the show came out in like 99. I did not watch it in 99. I watched it a few years later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. 99. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I watched it. I'm making this up. A couple of years later, I started watching the show.
Yeah.
So I cannot say that I was, I was one of the guys who watched it when it first came out. I didn't watch it live. I didn't see how. I did watch it on DVD, which is admittedly a different
You
experience.
didn't wait weeks at a time to finally watch another episode.
Absolutely not. It was.
I don't miss those days at all.
Oh God, man, the number of shows, like it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
How we going back in time, like how we did that. I mean,
know.
like you of course you had to,
and you couldn't wait. But it was cool though when you think about it. All the tension, that's all you could think about for a week or longer if you're between seasons.
Can you imagine in 2020? Well, I guess it's 4 now. Well, for me, 4, you 3. You get my point. Can you imagine in today's day and age, it being 1980, and you finding out
I wish
that Darth Vader is Luke's father, and you have to wait 3 years to find out if it's true?
No shit.
How is that even possible?
Or even just cliffhangers on TV shows where it's like they'll put a cliffhanger at the end of the season, not even really knowing when the next season's going to come out. Sometimes shit gets delayed, or if it even gets made.
I mean, back in those days,
I remember like feeling physical pain, like it hurt. It hurt your brain.
Yeah. It's so. I mean,
but it kept you as a fan.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the Sopranos. So admittedly, I did not jump on the Sopranos right when it started. So I can't say I experienced the first season as the
hype and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember the hype, and I didn't even see the show. Yeah, it was like an instant classic. I remember people instantly, like by the time the first season was over, it was the biggest thing on TV.
99. Okay. So like, give me a year, give me a plus or minus year or two, right? With 99, you had a couple of TV shows. And by the way, just for anybody who is watching this and has no idea who the hell I am, I'm not really. My name's Chris. Hi, I'm Chris. So I am not really. This is like lazy because I'm lazy, but I'm not a big show prep guy. I'm just not.
Yeah, so I find it's best to not with stuff like this because then you feel like you're stressed about trying to pay attention.
It's not me. Like I did go back through and watch. I went back. I actually rewatched some seasons, and I clicked it just because the thing about the Sopranos is like I've seen this show 100 times.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what episode what happens in. You know what I mean? It's, that's that. Okay.
Then they kind of blend together.
They absolutely blend together.
Yeah.
But so again, anybody who wants to like call me out and be like, you're full of crap because I'm a year off. Let's just be honest. 1999, right? We had a couple of mega things happen on TV at the time.
Yeah.
You had The Sopranos, right? This is right about the time that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire became really popular.
Oh, I remember that show.
And say what you want about the show, but now, I mean, the worst part about the show was really that it dragged everything out for a really long time. Yeah, but it dragged everything out. But come on, it was $1 million that you could win on that show.
As a nobody, yeah.
Yeah. And we're also talking, it was 99 or 2000. Again, please, whatever, Google it. I didn't look this up.
Yeah.
But it was right about the time that Richard Hatch won the first season of Survivor. Not the band. It'd be way cooler. It'd be way cooler if we were, the number one song the week I was born was "Eye of the Tiger," by the way. But like, how cool is that?
That is cool.
We're, you know what I mean? It was the same. I want to say it was 99, 2000, give or take. That Richard Hatch won the first season of Survivor. Again, $1 million. Actually, he went to like jail because he didn't pay his taxes or something.
Oh no!
But, yeah, I don't know if he went to jail, but he got in a lot of trouble because he didn't pay his taxes on $1 million.
Oh, he might have.
My point was there was a handful of TV shows that were. I mean, come on, there were big shows. I mean, Friends was big. Seinfeld was. There was a lot of shows that were big.
Seinfeld was just about to end.
Was it just about to end? Right,
yeah.
Because the last episode of that show
actually, I think Seinfeld might have ended in 99.
Was it okay? Well, like I said, we're talking.
It might have been 2000.
Give or take. I mean,
you're on the ball.
I didn't do any show prep and look these dates up.
You did say with give or take a year or two. So
give or take a year or two, right? 98, 90.
Yeah.
But point being, what I'm getting at with this was you had a handful of shows that were very popular. Again, Seinfeld popular, Friends popular,
huge.
Lots of shows that were popular. But there was I like to point to, and maybe there's probably more, but I'm forgetting. But Sopranos, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and Survivor legitimately completely changed the way TV was going to work.
Yeah,
kind of everywhere after that, right? I mean, Survivor made the competition reality show huge. I mean, it wasn't but a year or so later. Again, give me the years, but whatever.
Yeah.
Wasn't about a year or so later that you had like American Idol, right? When American Idol blew up, which I mean, you think about it, like in hindsight, we can look at American Idol and go, it was Sony BMG. It was an entire show of them just trying to find a star and advertise her and make her famous. But it worked, right? Kelly Clarkson is still a mega star by this day.
She is.
And no one remembers Justin Guarini. And nobody remembers the other host of the show, because there were two in this first season. Brian Dunkelman, right? But like the point I'm getting at is that show, like Sky, look at how many stupid, I mean, and some of them were good, some of them were terrible. Competition reality shows happened because of
God,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, they were,
like 50.
Oh my God. I mean, and there was America's Best Talk Model, America's Best Brothel. I mean, whatever.
It got The Voice and whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. It was bad. And they're still going on because they were cheap to produce.
Yeah.
Right. Then Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? Look at how that led into a show like the one with Howie Mandel. Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. Yeah. It's almost the same damn thing.
Well, it's because the whole point is drag this out for a long time. Anyway,
change it just enough to make it, a new show. And
right. Yeah. And looks, and again, in all of these, you have some good runs, right? There was a show called The Chase that I loved. We had the Beast. He was like a trivia guy. Great show. I mean, some of them are really good, but for the most part, they're kind of terrible. But with The Sopranos, man, that show unleashed everything we think of with television, like dramas now, right?
Yeah.
We will talk about there is a couple episodes that I really look forward to talking about.
Yeah.
And again, I for the record, anybody, I don't do spoilers. But when we get to episode 5 of season 1, that is kind of that's the episode that really makes The Sopranos go, everything is different. Everything will permanently be different forever.
Hey, did you ever see, by the way, that like prequel show that prequel movie that they did, like
the Saints of Newark or something like that?
Yeah, did you see that?
Seen it.
I don't either.
I might.
Yeah,
I might watch it someday. I don't know if it's.
I think now I have to watch it at some point.
Yeah, well, when you're done, when you're done with the show.
Yeah.
But point being, like, when the show came out, it was definitely different. Again, and I only mentioned specifically that it's season 5, that it's episode 5, and I only say that because you have this show which is drastically different than anything else that's on TV, and 5 episodes in, it changes everything. It will change, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But it changes everything.
Yeah.
When you think of the big TV shows of the last 20 years of, you've got your Breaking Bad, which is a great show. I really liked Breaking Bad.
I love it. Yeah.
By the way, Breaking Bad, one of the few shows that really ended well.
Right.
It did. It ended well. They did the ending right.
Yep. Totally.
Unrelated, but The Office has the best ending ever. But Breaking Bad ended well.
Didn't The Office had a similar, like, the end of The Office, wasn't it just like, didn't just go blank?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No. What I love about the end of The Office is they give everybody at the end of The Office gets their moment.
Yeah.
I look. I know everyone. Being someone who cares about the history of like radio and TV from being an old radio guy.
Yeah.
I'm aware that the greatest finale of all time is supposed to be MASH. Not saying it isn't. My vote is the finale of The Office is the best, and it's perfect. The finale of The Office is just perfect. It's amazing in every way. But anyway, so Breaking Bad ended really well.
Yep.
Sons of Anarchy gets a little weird for a while, but I thought it ended well. It did. You know what I mean? They ran that course of that show. Game of Thrones. I was a fan of the books, but I hated books 4 and 5. So, admittedly, once Game of Thrones,
everyone pretty much did.
Yeah. once it got to like Blind Girl, I'm like, I'm out. Point being, that's another one. Like The Walking Dead is another one. I was not a Walking Dead guy. I didn't watch it. I know, a little bit about it.
I was for a couple seasons, then I kind of
I mean, Sign Guy from Love Actually's in it. I mean, all joking. Really, I didn't watch it. I watched a couple episodes. That's it. Yeah. But these are all of those shows that when you think about them, it's really not that crazy by today's standards, right? But having a show with a large, The Walking Dead and the Game of Thrones are great examples of shows with a really large cast.
Yeah. Good casts.
Complicated storyline.
Yeah.
With, everything from bad language to violence to, nudity.
Tons of nudity.
I mean, depending on what show it is. I mean,
yeah.
You're watching
Game of Thrones. I was thinking Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Right. I mean, of course, you're gonna have 6 Feet Under. I mean, you had loads of.
I forgot about 6 Feet Under.
Right. Sure. I don't know how I remembered that one to be other than the band.
Yeah, I tried to forget about the band.
Yeah, well, you try to forget about that. Hey, man, dude, their first 2 records kicked ass.
As long as Chris Barnes is alive, he will not let us forget.
No, those first 2 albums were incredible. After that, yes. It's not. Third one was okay, but really, we understand. But there were the Sopranos really. It paves the way for all of that. And again, we will talk specifically about something later, but you have this show that, man, it was 99. Again, I didn't experience it when it came out. It was a couple years later, but you have this show where they're going to say, look, we respect our audience, which, by the way, is a huge thing, because so many movies and TV shows and bands or whatever, they don't respect their audience enough.
Just shit on the fans. Yeah,
they just shit on your fans.
Oh, fuck it, we'll get new ones. We'll get better fans.
Look, I'm admittedly a big Harry Potter fan, but it wasn't until I think book 5 when they stopped explaining what the word muggle meant at the beginning of every. I'm serious. They'd be like, well, a muggle, which, in case you didn't know what it means, even though you've read. Dude, this is book 5. I've read I'm not a dipshit. I wouldn't be reading book 5. But anyway,
jumping into it at book 5.
Come on.
Yeah.
Where the Sopranos they don't hold your hand. They don't apologize.
No, not even at the beginning. It just
you
jump right into it, as if you'd already been watching for a while. That's
right.
How it feels.
And what I love is I think
to the point where you're kind of confused, but it's because they don't spoon feed you.
Of course you are. They don't confuse you, but they don't. I don't think some.
It's kind of refreshing.
It is. And I also like that they do it, but they do it only to a point where you're not going to get frustrated and just be like, screw this, I don't know what the hell. They don't you don't have to watch 9 episodes to figure out what the hell is going on.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So, and again, we'll
feel like a fly on the wall throughout that show.
I think what I like about it. Fly on the wall forever.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this before we're going to talk about episode 1. We'll talk about episode 2. Wow.
The pilot.
So if we look at the pilot, right? How did you feel? Do you get it? Do you again? Let's preface this for everybody who's new. I've watched the show 100 times.
Yeah,
I love the show. I watch it once or twice a year.
I got it much more on the second watch. I'm actually glad I rewatched those episodes because I glossed over a couple of things.
Okay. So the first time you watched it,
yeah,
did you get it overall?
I think so. I think I did just because I have always loved mafia movies ever since I was a little kid. So I'm just drawn to that kind of thing. So I think so. I think it made pretty good sense to me right away. Other than, like I said, trying to keep track of the names of the characters, which I still don't. I still don't know them.
Names are hard. And dude, by the time you're done, there'll be 100 Tonys. I mean, it's
only on the second watch. I was like, okay, now I know Big Pussy.
Yeah, there's Big Pussy.
Chris, they make pretty obvious. Well, I think it's just because he stands out because he's the young guy.
Yep.
A lot of the other guys are roughly the same age,
And there's actually 2 pussies.
Yeah, was it Little Pussy or is it?
Well, there's Pussy Malenga and then there's Big Pussy.
Big Pussy, okay,
right?
Yeah.
Because the other Pussy. Okay, for the record, the reason why his name is Pussy is I read this later on. I didn't know this either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
is
know.
That he used to be like a what they called him, like a cat burglar. He
was okay.
So the name Pussy came about.
Oh, because he was like the good thief.
Right,
okay.
right. So it's actually not an anatomical reference. It's about him being a cat burglar.
Yeah, I was thinking like, is okay. At first, I was like, maybe he's just a big wimp. What do you call your friends? When you want to bust their balls.
Oh, he's definitely not.
Yeah, no, and then I'm like, okay, well, he's a pretty imposing guy, so now I don't get the reference. Okay,
so
that makes total sense.
So I'm trying to think who all is in episode 1, but So at the end of the day, would you say, and we can talk specifics here in a minute, would you say you felt you generally got it? I admit that watching it a couple of times, you'll pick up all the little shit.
Yeah.
I think so. Were you okay? So and again, that's just a question of.
And what's funny is how I told you like I need to rewatch these and take notes. I can't because like I'm so engaged in the show. So look, these are the notes that I wrote for 2 episodes.
Right. Yeah. There's not much.
And so what I did now is I just if I ever have any trouble, I just have the wiki page pulled up to
the wiki page is going to help.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to write down notes. I just can't because I don't want to distract myself.
No.
Yeah. So I gave up on that.
I don't recommend you do it. I mean,
no, I don't want to.
Like and I know we've talked about this too. Like as a guy myself, I read a lot of, fantasy, like I read a lot of books and things. And there's some series where like you got to just take you're not going to like the Malazan series, but like you're not going to understand it if you don't take notes and go.
I've heard that is a very complex. Yes,
it is. It's very, very. And I loved book 1. Not a fan of book 2, but that's besides the point. The point I'm getting at is like there are some series out there that you have to, or you're not going to get it. I think a show like The Sopranos is the one where, maybe you'll. I'm not saying that taking some notes is not going to help you in any way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I really. Well, okay. Let me.
I kind of made that decision. Like, I'm probably just not going to do that next time.
Writing a few notes.
I'm not going to.
Writing some notes about things we might want to talk about on the show. That's different.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
so so you don't forget it. You don't.
Right. Well, writing some stuff down to talk about on the show on this is one thing.
That's a good idea.
But I think trying to keep track of what's going on. I don't think at any point in time the show is that complicated.
Right.
Where you have to. And I also think for the most part, it makes sense. I think it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think at the end of the day, it gets around to. There are some confusing points at the beginning, admittedly.
Yeah.
But
like I said, it's in a kind of a good way. It's confusing in a good way.
Right.
Because it makes you work for it just a little bit, It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't hold your hand and spoon feed you.
I think it. I mean,
it's
in my opinion,
keep up with us if you can. That's kind of what it is.
Without going too far, like I don't think it's the kind of show where you're completely lost. I don't think it's a show where you have to really work that hard.
And I'll admit I'd really wondered what to expect because I've seen all the great mob movies. I'm like, okay, is this going to remind me of Goodfellas? Is it going to remind me of The Godfather? Yeah. It almost it's such its own thing, which I love. I love it for.
When I watch this, I feel like
maybe a little Goodfellas in there, but not
well. And dude, they reference them all in the show.
They do, which is awesme. Yeah, like Tony, he's a big fan of the Godfather movies, and
you get still going. They pull me back in. The
Pacino,
the Pacino thing. Sorry, I forgot what episode. I know you saw that.
I think it was episode 2. He says it like 3 times.
Right. Yeah. It was like they pull me back in. They talk about Goodfellas. So what I like about it though is that those movies exist in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that they exist in this world.
Me too.
Because anything that they're doing, I mean, they talk about Godfather 1 and 2 throughout the show, they must mention it 100 times.
That's awesome.
You know, I don't, and again, I won't mention anything that's like plot related. But one of the early episodes, Christopher Moltisanti says something like, what does he say? He says, like, Louis sleeps with the fishes. Like, what the point being is he says it wrong. Like, you know, he says the wrong name.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what he says. Point being, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
They make that a part of the show.
Yeah.
They make those movies, because those movies are important to all of us. I mean, movies like The Godfather, they're absolutely part of Americana.
Totally.
Right. I mean, Star Wars, like some of these movies are just part of Americana.
Yeah.
You know, and again, movies like Casino, you know, Goodfellas, whatever.
Yeah, they're like those movies that everyone's seen, even if they're not even a fan of movies or a fan of those kinds of movies. People, you could name someone that's seen Goodfellas and like, it's not even my thing, but I've seen it, you know.
I mean, you know, I will not say anything plot related, but I mean, you're going to get, you know, say hello to my little friend. Like, you're going to get that kind of reference in the show. And
I'm totally okay with that. Yeah.
Right. But like I said, I love that they do that, knowing that, okay, if they made that reference, it's different than if the character in the show is making the reference. And I say that because that means that in their world, Scarface exists. In their world, The Godfather 1 and 2 exist.
And not only do they exist, but like these people have seen the movies and they're fans of them.
And like, one of the little things, I don't know how many people notice this, but have you ever seen the movie Donnie Brasco?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Remember how in the movie Pacino explains friend of mine, friend of ours. Friend of mine means he's you know, a connected guy. Friend of ours means he's a made guy. I mean, friend of mine means he's a guy who works for me. Friend of ours means he's a made guy. He's a gangster. He's with us.
Yeah.
I never noticed this the first like 10 times I watched The Sopranos, but once I eventually realized, like, they say that too. They'll say he's a friend of ours. They're little cool. I love that little stuff. I think the show, again, it's not a spoiler, but there's cool attention to detail through the show. David Chase, who it's his show. He does such a great job of attention to detail. He does a great job with casting this show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, realistically, Melfi is the only known actor in the pilot.
Okay.
She's the only well-known actor in the pilot.
I actually really love her as a character.
She won an Oscar I think she won the Oscar, but for Goodfellas.
Okay.
You know, she's in Goodfellas. And
wait, who does she play in Goodfellas? Do you remember?
Hold on.
Is she one of the wives?
Is it Goodfellas she's in? Hold on.
Yeah. I really like her character.
It's Lorraine Bracco.
I liked her from the start, to be honest.
She was in Goodfellas. She's Karen. She's kind of the main female in that movie. I couldn't remember her character.
I think she's Ray Liotta's wife.
Is it Ray Liotta's wife? I'm trying to remember.
I could be wrong.
It's been a million years since I've seen it. Yeah. She's Ray Liotta's wife. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I couldn't remember which one of the ones. She's great in it. I'm pretty sure she won the Oscar for it.
She is.
God, I again, please, I don't look this stuff up before I do it, but if I'm not mistaken, they were trying to get her to play Carmela, and she turned it down because she had just played that character in The Godfather.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, she had just played the wife of whoever in The Godfather. So she turns it down. But anyway, she's the only well-known actress or actor in the show, really, at the beginning. The woman, the girl who plays Meadow. Again, I'm just going off of stuff that I've read. I'm trying to go off my own memory.
Yeah.
Meadow was a singer who only auditioned for the show because it was called The Sopranos, and she thought she'd be singing. No, I mean really.
That's
like
funny.
the guy who plays Christopher. There's a funny story that I heard about him where at the beginning of episode 1, remember where he's like driving their driving his new Lexus.
Yeah,
he had never driven in his life. Because he grew up in Manhattan. He'd never driven a car before.
Yeah, like, a lot of New Yorkers, they don't have cars. Exactly. You don't have anywhere to put them.
So there's really, I mean, the show was, I don't want to say complete unknowns, right? But they were not A-list actors by any chance. I mean, right. You've got little Steven plays Silvio.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind.
You don't.
I didn't know he was a musician.
Well, I mean, he was the E Street Band, right? I mean, I grew up thinking of him from the Glory Days video with him, and I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan.
Sorry, me either. Yeah, that's why I didn't know who he was.
Sorry to everybody in New Jersey, but if you watch I remember growing up watching the Glory Days video with him and Clarence Clemens, a big saxophone player.
His name was like Steven Van Zandt or something.
Yeah, Steven Van Zandt, that's his name.
Yeah,
Little Steven, as everyone called him. But anyway, he plays Silvio. Interestingly, he was another one of the guys who auditioned for Tony Soprano. So did the guy who plays Artie Bucco, which that one's really weird for me. It's like, I cannot see that guy. He's great as Artie. I cannot see that actor playing Tony at all. Artie being the guy who runs the restaurant.
Okay. Yeah, he's great too. I like.
Oh yeah, guy. He's great for sure. Yeah. But anyway, so okay, so here we are. We start the episode out. And if I'm not mistaken,
totally the way I did not expect it to start.
How so? What do you mean?
I did not. Well, they start right in a psychiatry office. Mm-hmm. So me knowing, okay, this is a mobster show.
Right.
You don't think about mobsters seeing a psychiatrist, especially starting right in a psychiatry office. I'm like,
right.
Okay. All right.
And it is nothing like Analyze This.
Yeah.
If you ever seen Analyze This with De Niro and
I have Billy Crystal.
It is nothing like that at all.
No,
like nothing like that at all.
No,
you have him, sit down and he's talking. I even love that
he does not want to be there.
No,
he's kind of a dick at first.
I love that it starts with him in the lobby.
Yeah, and she opens the door, Mr. Soprano.
Which like what a great way of and I don't want to get all deep on this, but like
no, do it.
Tony Soprano, right? Which, by the way, every time I watch season 1, it weirds me out how thin he is.
Yeah,
like I mean, he's got
he gets pretty heavy.
I mean, I'm fatter than he is, but like,
and he's just a big dude too.
He's just a big dude, but he's way thin now as compared to when he'll get later.
Yeah, I've seen pictures, so I thought so too. Yeah, I was like, oh, I remember him being a fatter guy.
I love that he starts. I love that she comes and gets him.
Me too.
And I'll tell you why.
And there's instant character development, like right off the bat. You learn things about them. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I love how he walks in and she goes, "Have a seat." And there's 2 chairs, and he looks at her and he points at both, like. He's kind of an awkward type dude,
Yep.
Which chair do I sit in? She's like, I don't know, whatever. Choose one.
Well,
just a little thing,
What I love, these are the kind of things I actually don't. It's all the times I've watched it, I've never even thought about this point.
Yeah,
her going out and getting him and telling him to sit down, like right out of the gate, she's in control.
Yeah, and she's not afraid of him.
No. Well, not yet. Anyway,
and she learns pretty quick what he does, but she's still like she's still she's not gonna let her guard down, as a professional.
No, and that becomes that's an issue, with the show across the board. But Tony is, he's fragile.
Yeah,
he's shockingly fragile.
And you learn that within 15 minutes of the show.
You do. You
less.
Learn. You do. You get the point. Like, oh,
he's got a soft side,
and he's got a soft side despite being,
a thug, basically.
A thug, right?
Someone Probably killed people, I'm talking like
probably.
pre the show, if you were to make a prequel, he's probably killed people with his own hands.
And even if you don't know whether or not he has, it's not a stretch to think about it.
No,
right?
Not at all. I always assume most mobsters have anyways at one point.
Right. Well, you got to figure like whether or not you're the button man or not.
Yeah.
You've probably done something. I mean,
and they all start at the bottom,
Vito Corleone kills someone in Godfather 2.
Yeah.
He kills the one guy. Remember, he
one of the greatest scenes of cinema history.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you think of Vito Corleone as the Godfather, as this guy who you think of Godfather 1. Here's a guy who's making other people do the work for him. No, he's straight up Godfather 2. You see him, he does it, which is which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I love that Melfi starts out in control. Maybe not by a lot, right. But it starts, you get her.
Yeah, she's tough.
She is. She's very tough. I also, I like that they go from there right into his family and his godforsaken horrible children.
Yeah.
Like, do you hate his kids? Because I hate his kids.
They're pretty shitty, yeah.
Yeah, they're like the shittiest people ever.
Yeah.
They're the shittiest people ever. And for me, personally, every time I watch this show, like, I hate his kids.
Yeah,
I do.
I've got that.
I'm sorry if you want to say I'm a douchebag because I hate his kids. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to.
Well, they're very abrasive. Yeah, they're abrasive.
Well, they're spoiled
kids. Yeah.
Meadow is a spoiled bitch and a half.
She is.
I
instantly think, too, like instantly.
No, instantly. If I'm not
sure
mistaken,
it gets worse. I'm sure it gets worse.
Part of me, if I'm wrong, dude, look it up. Part of me thinks that the girl who plays Hunter, who is Meadow's best friend in that scene, I want to say that's David Chase's daughter, like the daughter of the guy who makes. Dude, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Okay.
Screw me. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. But Meadow is just come on, dude. Let's be completely fair. If you knew either one of those kids, you would hate them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like if you went to school with AJ, you'd be like, dude, this twat. Like I don't want anything to do with him. I'm serious.
No, yeah.
There's no freaking way. I would.
He'd be that kid you're still talking about 20 years later. Like, oh, this fucking kid, man.
Dude. I went to a Catholic school, and it's like, dude, I went to school with a whole bunch of AJs, and I fucking hate all. I hate all of them. Like,
and some Meadows too, probably.
oh god, yeah. My valedictorian was definitely a Meadow, and she's not listening because, trust me, she's probably too big. She's so far up her own ass, she's not. But if she was, I'm talking about her.
No.
So, okay. Well, okay. So, okay. A couple other things that happened in this episode. I'd be curious your opinion of. Like, so you get the you get them the Christopher and his Lexus, and they're chasing that one guy.
Yeah.
Who owes them money.
Yeah.
like and that happens early on. I mean, we're talking
real early, like maybe 10 minutes in or less.
10 minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
Like so here's what I'm curious about. So you're watching the episode for the first time.
Yeah.
If that. You're watching the episode for the first time. You said to me you were surprised that they went straight to the psychiatrist's office.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking? Like, okay, here's Tony. He's talking to the psychiatrist. Then he goes home and he sees his kids. And then they're chasing someone and beating the piss out of him.
Yeah. That's what I expected it to start with a scene like that. I expected totally typical. Here's mob guys doing mob things. That's what I expected it to start off with, and I'm glad that it
didn't. That's interesting. I would be curious. I was that's why I was curious as whether or not you would have done the other way.
Yeah.
Like, would you have preferred it start with let's beat the.
Actually, no, I wouldn't change anything. I love how it starts. I just didn't expect it. I would not change it.
Think of The Godfather, right? If I'm not mistaken, isn't the first line of The Godfather like "I believe in America"? Right? You have the the funeral director guy.
Yeah,
and that's how that's how the movie starts out. It's really quiet and dark. Yeah. I like that this is that way and completely different at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's almost like it's almost as if the opening scene is kind of innocent.
Yeah, it kind of is. It is. It totally is.
You have this guy who talks to an extremely overly professional psychiatrist. Right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting about her too, and I'm sorry, like you can't watch The Sopranos and not talk about the gorgeous the list of gorgeous women that are in the show, right?
Dude, I was gonna say I kind of have a thing for Melhi, actually, or Melfi.
you kind of have to.
Yeah,
you almost have to. Like I mean, I mean this when I say this. Like I have some friends of mine that we talk all the time about like which gangster wife would you most like to bone, and I have an answer. Now, I mean, it depends how much we want to split hairs.
Yeah, I probably don't know her yet.
If we're talking, well, you do. But if we're talking about like gangster wife, I have an answer. If not,
I mean, a cast member in general.
Yeah, I mean, then it gets really weird.
Yeah,
but there are a couple that you will. I wouldn't fuck her with your dick, but like there's some.
Or as George Carlin said, I wouldn't fuck her with a stolen dick.
I would fuck her with a stolen dick. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Straight up George Carlin. I love it.
Yep.
But there are a few that one very specifically. For anybody who's seen the show before, let's just say she's Rubenesque. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But they're one, and then there's a couple that are like not going there.
Yeah.
But then, God, there's a handful. And what's really weird about the show too? Like you got to realize, like the show came out in '99, right? So I mean, again, I didn't watch it then, but let's just say I watched the show 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago. Every time they go into the Bada Bing, and there's a bunch of strippers with their fake boobs out, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah. Yep.
20 years later, I'm like, I don't want them. I want the gang.
I'm already
creepy.
there.
It's creepy.
I've already thought the same thing. I'm like, I think it's because like strippers are kind of a dime a dozen, but the other characters are more unique.
Yeah, and there's a couple like,
and they have personalities too.
Oh, there is a couple. I'm trying to click through the episode and see if at least one of them is in the episode. I don't remember if she is or not. But there is one that I would just do horrible things to, and I mean that in a way that she would enjoy it. Trust me, I don't mean that in a bad way. Well, and actually, Lo, let's be fair. I would do it because her dude wouldn't. But no, like it's so funny. I swear to God, it's so funny. Like again, when you're like 18 years old, you're like, oh, you're watching it, and then as you get older, you're like, oh man. Dude, it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
your taste change. Yeah.
It's like,
I bet when you're 18, you would have been looking at the strippers,
Absolutely. I would have been like, I don't want to bang the old lady. I mean, but you want all the strippers.
Yeah.
But I'm seriously, it's funny. It's like when you get older, it's like you find yourself at Target and you see like some like 18-year-old girl in like, short shorts and their boobs and a shirt, and and then you realize you're checking out her mom.
Yeah,
I mean? Like this show is a weird example of that.
Your tastes refine. You appreciate different things that you didn't know about.
You do. It's very. I actually don't know if the actress is she's in this show early enough yet or not, but very very early on. But my point is, it's just fun when you're watching it going, oh, that's interesting. So you kind of can't. I find it impossible to watch this show and not have a running tab of all the of all the Italian women, you just want to do horrible things to.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to realize we mean this in a consensual fashion, but there's seriously, there's a ton. You're like, oh my God. And you know, they're the kinds that like it. They're not the kind you want to see in a centerfold. They're the kind you meet them. You're like, oh man. Yeah. They're target mom. They're target moms. Yeah. I don't know how to better to explain it, but they're target moms. I agree. Like you're going to see them at oh God. That's just way too cool.
I started thinking that pretty quickly, and I didn't expect it to happen because it's not really the point. But
it's not the point. I mean, look at something like Edie Falco, right? Who plays Carmela Soprano. She's clearly a very attractive woman. I mean, she's clearly a very attractive woman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like her a lot.
You put her in this show with the obnoxious Jersey accent.
Yeah.
Why is she hotter? I don't know. I don't know. Why is Edie Falco so much hotter? You know, why and I sound like I'm joking and I'm being silly. But like why every time a woman in the show says gabagool, you're not like, "Oh my God, I want to give her that."
Yeah.
Like I'm serious. Like why you're like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to give her here's my gabagool."
Yeah,
By the way, gabagool is
I may not be Italian, but
gabagool is one of my favorites because everyone who watches the show mentions when
I didn't even know what gabagool was.
Yep, that's my point. Everybody watches the show. Like, what the hell is a gabagool? Yeah. What? It's capicola.
Yeah, and I've had capicola.
Of course, yeah. They call it gabagool. Yeah, you know, like all the food. It's so funny. Like mozzarella. Oh, mozzarella. Okay, rigatoni. Oh, ricotta. Okay.
Always like, some kind of pasta or sandwiches.
And once you realize that no one in the right mind even says gabagool, it's way better. But seriously, you get someone like Edie Falco. It's like, look, again, Edie Falco is a very attractive woman. That's not what I mean. But you make her this Jersey mom, and she's, you know,
it's a different.
Give her some gabagool, and you're like,
it changes everything. Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't see it coming. I was like,
no, and there are a handful of women on this show who their character make them gorgeous.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, you sound like you're being just a pervert, which I'll take that. I'll take it.
You could, but yeah, but
I'll take it. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. But there's just something about that show that it really does. It really makes, and I mean, first of all, like Melfi doesn't do the like Jersey hooker thing.
No,
but no, I mean,
hers is more refined. She's got a little bit of an accent, and
yeah, she's got that. She's got the Jersey accent thing. She's gorgeous, of course. Yeah. But then again, you have just handfuls of other ones.
Yeah.
So okay, so now here's what I'd love. You said something to me. You messaged me something about this. What do you think of Tony's mother? Yeah, like in the world of like best performances on this show, like
she might be my favorite character.
Really?
Like I told you my favorite. She's like a stand-up comedian, basically. Like all her lines are funny, but like my favorite line of hers is when Tony's talking to her and like, "Why didn't you answer the phone last night? It was after dark. I don't answer the phone after dark." Mom, it's not like going out. It's a completely different thing. You can answer the phone in the dark. It's not dangerous.
Oh, Tony's, I mean,
and she's got like, the stereotypical like old lady. She's racist and like,
of course. Oh God, like
these blacks. You never know what you can say around them.
I love. And again, look, I say I love. And let me clarify right out of the gate. What I mean is I love their casual racism.
Yeah.
Not because I like casual racism, clearly.
No. Yeah.
What I love is that they put it in the show.
Exactly.
Because of how believable it is.
Yeah. And
I mean, like I love how believable it is.
For that. The Italians are known for being very racist. I've had Italian friends tell me this is a thing. So I mean, especially in their older generation.
Well, I was gonna say let's talk generational too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's also old.
Right. You got to figure, World War II was fought entirely like entirely based on being able to, give racial stereotypes to soldiers. I mean, let's be fair. Like, I was raised by my grandparents. My grandfather was a Korean War vet. Yeah. I mean, I know. Yeah. I mean, I know his level of racism. Yeah. So just for anybody watching the show that's like, oh, who likes her? Not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like the casual racism in the show because of its believability. I know that sounds like a horrible thing to say.
Well, and she says these things so innocently. She doesn't say them with like a tone of hatred. She's just like blatant, like, oh, this thing, like, oh. And if you were to correct her, she'd be like, what? I don't understand. What did I say wrong?
She would just roll it off.
Yeah, she wouldn't care.
And that will continue. Shocking, no surprise.
They don't play it safe, which I respect them for that.
I respect the fact that the show doesn't play it safe.
Yeah.
Agreed. And it's one of those things where you look at it and again, as intelligent whatever people, again, the show respects the audience.
Yeah.
It respects the audience by saying, you realize we are not being racist by making this show.
Right.
We are being honest with the audience.
Honest. Yep. Exactly. And they would not make this show nowadays. Or if they did, it would be totally different. Maybe someone like Scorsese would do it, but a modern director would leave those things out,
The things they say about women, the things they say about, but even still, the Italian American stereotypes. I mean, they say words like guinea.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Maltasanti refers to himself as a skinny guinea. Sorry, I forget what episode, but like early on in the show, he calls himself not this skinny guinea. Yeah. And it's like I think it gives a believability factor to it.
It does.
One of the things I love about The Sopranos is while I understand anything you watch, you have to suspend, reality, right? There's a level of you have to go, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I think The Sopranos does a great job of saying, when I have to suspend disbelief, I get it, right? Yeah, I mean, right. I'm with you, man. I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania. It wasn't just Italians, but you had the Italian neighborhoods, you have the Greek neighborhoods, the Germans and the Irish. My family was German and Irish, but like you grew up with those neighborhoods, and I mean, come on, I heard my grandparents say more racist things than anything in The Sopranos ever says.
Oh yeah, by far.
Please, for anybody watching the show, realize I'm not excusing that.
No,
I'm saying like I appreciate the show.
It's a generational thing, though.
It is.
Yeah,
I appreciate that the show has respect for the audience to be like, well, yeah.
It makes it feel more real. I gotta say, it adds more authenticity to it.
It totally does, and it's. I don't think the show apologizes for much of anything, which is probably a good thing. I mean,
I think so.
In 99, okay, look, let's be culturally fair. In 99, I think people were less likely to be offended by everything.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Generational thing, though. I mean, come on. Yeah, I think back to the 90s and everything was like, the X Games and Jerry Springer and Marilyn Manson and the Attitude Era on WWE. I mean, that's what I think of in the 90s, Mortal Kombat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it was a generational, like, let's push everything.
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm with you when you say it wouldn't have been, but I mean, it wasn't as if this wasn't edgy then. So,
right.
That's fine.
Yeah. And it was on HBO, so they could get away with a little more.
It was on HBO. I will say, so I do it. I don't claim to be like I've done a lot of theater in my life, but it's been a while. But still, like when you watch some characters, you're like, that's just what a hell of a performance. I think Tony's mother, like in the characters that have got to be, God, that's got to be a hard role to do.
Your father was a saint.
Oh, Johnny was a saint. It's.
And I like how Tony tells Melfi, like, yeah, she says he's a saint now, but when he was alive, she walked all over him and treated him like garbage.
No way she would have said that before.
Yeah, no
way she would have said that before.
Yeah. And on that end, did you do they talk much more about Tony's dad? Obviously, you don't get to see him. That he comes up more. Oh, okay. Shit.
Well, they do a lot of flashbacks. You will meet Tony's father.
Okay. I've wondered about that because, like, he says, I didn't notice till the second watch, but he tells Melfi that, like, yeah, my dad was he never made it as high as I did, as he said, but I did kind of take his position in a way or something like that.
No, yeah, Tony definitely skyrockets. Yeah, you will meet his father half a dozen. There's a couple of episodes that his father is more in the episode.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, no, by the way, we're getting some pop-ups here. I don't know if John just mentioned the groundbreaking things about the DVD was how much easier it was viewing this entire season compared to VHS. Dude, watching the show on VHS sucked.
Rewinding and fast forwarding.
This sucked nuts, man. I mean,
I remember watching series on VHS. It didn't work.
Oh God! Didn't work. Like I said, man, I worked at a Blockbuster. I managed a Blockbuster, and, like, dude, actually, a fun story. The week that I started at a Blockbuster was the week that The Green Mile came out on video.
Oh, okay.
Why do I? And for John, who just mentioned, the reason I remember that, not just because I'm weird and I remember stupid shit, but what I remember was because The Green Mile was a double video.
Yes, it was. And, like, I had it on VHS.
So you had your two videos like this, right?
Yeah.
And we had the Dropbox for Blockbuster, and, like, people couldn't fit it.
Oh shit! Yeah, because they were like enough to fit one videotape in. It was like a mailbox or like a mail slot.
The keyword, but they're like, I can't fit it in, and then you'd be like, dumbass, open it up. Like all you had to do was open it up. And in. But it was just a couple of weeks of people being like, okay,
hadn't figured it out yet.
But oh my God, there were some shows that were just horrendous to try to do.
Well, yeah, because if you're like, I want to watch episode 4, I gotta find it.
Yeah, it was just not happening.
I gotta find it.
And so yeah. Oh, dude, hands down, the Sopranos was one of those shows that was just DVD. Oh, Tower Radio. There you go.
I remember.
Did you? By the way, John, did you?
But we had Tower Records. That's a different thing, isn't it?
Because Blockbuster didn't have the the jerk off room. Did Tower?
They're family friendly.
Yeah, Blockbuster did not have did not have the porn room in the back.
Yeah, all the mom and pop shops did though.
Yeah,
I always thought was funny. I remember my mom having to teach me about that. Like, you can't ever go behind that curtain.
I just remember when I worked at Blockbuster that anybody that came in looking for a jerk off movie, we would just give them Olsen Twins movies.
Oh God!
Did you know why?
No.
Okay, hold on. I gotta Google this. Hold on.
John said, "Yeah, Tower had adult videos."
Here, dude. We would jokingly
was it the same owner as Tower Records? Is that the same thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, dude, okay.
Here's why we would jokingly give them Olsen Twins movies. Anytime someone wanted an adult movie, we would give them Olsen Twins movies. And here's why. Let me list for you the names of Olsen Twins movies in the 90s. Double Toil and Trouble. How the West Was Fun. It Takes Two. Passport to Paris. Switching Goals.
So they all sound like porn movies.
Every single Olsen Twins movie sounds like hardcore fucking. I swear to God. Like Holiday in the Sun, Getting There, When in Rome. Every last. Dude, I swear to God.
There's got to be something intentional there. The producers.
I don't know. I don't know. But dude, they all sounded like straight up like.
Somebody was marketing them. Yeah,
like Nick Menza would have loved this shit. They were straight up like hardcore fucking.
Hey, maybe even Dave Ellefson.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to watch what Dave Ellefson has to say.
Well, that's pre-internet, so he didn't have to learn that technology.
Maybe not.
He still doesn't know how to use it properly.
Yeah, we definitely didn't have adult videos. But yeah, seriously, like I admittedly, so I started at the first. By the way, first movie I ever saw on DVD was Fight Club. I had a friend of mine got a DVD player, got my Fight Club. The first DVD I ever bought was High Fidelity. Dumb shit, you remember. But yeah, no, absolutely. I would have not done this show on VHS. I would have never watched the show on VHS.
What a pain that would be. Unless you were just gonna not ever rewind it or anything.
No, that would have been horrible.
Yeah.
But seriously though, I Tony's mother, one of those characters, you know, I hate that like, honestly, one of the most believable characters. Well, I think there's a lot of believable characters on the show.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Totally believable character.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as she irritates the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
Like, I hate Tony's mother.
Oh, do you?
That's why I love Tony's mother.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to. She's a pain in the ass.
It's like the warden in the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Like, you hate that guy.
I
don't care if you've ever seen the Shawshank Redemption. You hate the warden. You hate him. You want to kill the warden with your bare hands.
Yeah.
God, there's nothing harder than playing a character that's that just messed up.
Yeah.
And
her performance is amazing.
She's utterly incredible. But like, utterly, if anybody on the, I'll put it this way, if anybody on the pilot deserved, you know, an Emmy, it was her. Like,
I
hands
agree,
down.
Yeah.
As great as the whole season, I mean, everybody's great in it.
Yeah.
So you get Tony's about to get an MRI, right?
Yep.
And Carmela's like, you know, Carmela's basically like, screw you, you cheating.
Yeah, you get the feeling at the beginning, like, oh, do they hate each other or what's going on here? You know?
Well, I mean, because, you know,
she resents Tony. She resents Tony for sure. Yeah,
of course she. Well, and here's another weird.
Like, loves him and hates him at the same time. Yeah.
The Catholic thing is weird in this movie too. Not weird. It's actually.
I was guessing that.
Honest. The Catholic theme in because she's a Catholic. They're all Catholics.
Yeah, all Italians. Yeah.
I agree with you. By the way, the actor who plays Tony's mom is.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean when I say that I like her so much, is just because her performance is so great.
Dude,
she adds a dynamic. You know,
it's like growing up a wrestling fan, right? Like, being a face is easy.
She's doing promos through the whole show, basically.
Like dude, being a face is easy.
Yeah.
Not everybody could be a heel that made you want to kill them.
Nope.
You know, not everybody could be Ted DiBiase or whoever, Ric Flair, whoever. Pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
I mean, come on. Like I think back of like again, for all the wrestling fans, like WrestleMania 7. When Sergeant Slaughter turns bad, he turns heel, and dude, he got like death threats, right? People were legitimately death threats. She's one of those. She is that caliber of an actor, where she could pull that off.
Yeah.
And but seriously, Carmela, you realize but the Catholic thing will carry a theme in the show. And look, like, I went to Catholic schools for years. Hey, I only knew one priest that was a pedophile. He was convicted, whatever. I only knew one. It didn't.
Yeah.
Look, he didn't do anything to me. He had standards. But my point is, no, I did. Like I say, sorry. I will gladly tell you his name. I have my college degree, my bachelor's degree is signed by the bishop who, you know, hid it. It's bad.
Oh,
but like, sorry. It's true. But I mean, I only point that out because like the Catholic part of the show is interesting. And by the way, like, again, I'm not putting down anybody who's Catholic. This is not an anti-whatever.
Right.
You know, whatever you believe in, that's
not here to bash on you.
No. But I will say that there are anybody who's Catholic would agree that there are issues. I mean, if nothing else, there are issues.
I would hope so.
Right.
So.
I mean, I would say, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, Tony loves the History Channel. He does, though he does. That comes later, but he will.
Well, he loves ducks.
He does love ducks. he loves his mallards. But like the only reason I'm getting at is, I mean, anybody who's a Catholic would agree that there's some problematic aspects.
Sure.
And the show plays to that a lot. And you know, Carmela being Catholic and Tony and her being like, you know, you're gonna go to hell. Like it's an interesting.
Yeah, she says that to him really early on. She's like,
yeah, it's like
at least when
I
die, I'm not going to go to hell or something like that.
Yeah.
He kind of rolls his eyes or whatever.
At least I'm not going to go to hell when dude. I mean, come on, like. I mean, I'm an atheist, whatever. I don't know how religious you are, but my point is, like,
not at all.
If someone said to me, you're going to go to hell, I'm like, you ain't the first person. I was told that because I listened to Pantera. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
you know, I grew up. I was told that because I listened.
I've heard that one already. Thanks though.
You know, like what's next? I'm fat. You know, I'm serious. Yeah. But these are Catholics, and why you might say that Tony clearly is not a good person or has whatever.
Right.
He believes in God.
You can't be a mobster and be a good person necessarily.
You can't be a mobster and be a good person.
As much as he does have some humanity.
But interestingly, their relationship with the church has always been, even again, go back to The Godfather.
Yeah.
Right? Godfather 2, you've got the parade. God, I forget which. It's not Anthony, but whatever, you know, where they're putting the dollar, the dollar bills.
Saint something.
Yeah.
One of the saints.
I forget which saint it is.
They're all saints, I think, but yeah.
I'm good with some of them. Some of them I forget, but
yeah.
The point I'm getting at is like they were Catholics. I mean, look, the way Godfather 1 ends is with a baptism.
Yeah.
And that
Italians back then, and maybe it's still this thing, but like it's almost similar to Judaism. It's if you're just born into that religion, you don't even choose it. You're just like, hey, did you know you're a Catholic? Well, I don't want to be one. Well, you are one, so
yeah,
I'm not going to go to church. No, you're still Catholic. You know, you're my son. You know,
I don't know why I got all like there. Okay, I got all unclear for a minute. But yeah, the Catholic thing matters.
Yeah.
In this show, and so when Carmela says to him, you know, I'm not going to go to hell when I die. Like,
yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. That's the worst thing she could say to you.
And it's cold when she says it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not joking.
I mean, Tony, the level, I don't know why I'm all blurry now, but whatever.
It looks okay.
I don't, not that anyone want to see my fucking face, but like look, I got a great face for fucking radio. You know, I'm aware that when people hear my voice, they come violently, but my face turns them fucking off in a second. But like, no, the point I'm getting at is they, whether or not Tony gives a shit, he probably does. But dude, like, what could be worse that Carmela could say to you? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Like we're talking an Italian mom.
Yeah.
Who, like, I mean, really, like, what is the worst possible thing you could say to someone?
And he's taken advantage of the fact that he knows, or at least doesn't think she would ever leave him. I think that's probably a mobster thing in general. You know.
Well, like, dude, it's a Catholic thing.
And a Catholic thing. Yeah, you go to hell for getting divorced.
You get excommunicated in Catholicism for getting a divorce.
Yeah,
you're only allowed to get a divorce if like he beats you, and even then, I mean, seriously, like even then,
yeah.
They would try to talk.
Let's try to work it out. Yeah.
And I went to Catholic schools for 16 years. I mean, like first grade all the way up through my senior year of college of my undergraduate. Like, I mean, really, like that is the most fucked up thing that she could ever say to you.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That, I mean, that's like you're hung like a child.
It cuts. Whatever. Yeah, when she says it, even I'm feeling it. I'm like, oh man, it hurts.
And that is whether or not it matters. Again, whether or not the religion, it does, but like whether or not the religious thing matters to Tony, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that is fucked up.
Yeah,
that is the most fucked up thing she could have said,
and that's why she said it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And the thing is. And again, I don't want to talk about anything later on, but I think she said it because she fucking meant it.
It seemed like it. Yeah.
That wasn't
in her eyes and everything.
That wasn't her being a bitch.
No.
That was her being. Actually, I think that was her being honest with herself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I mean, that was her. That was her saying, you're a piece of shit, fuck you. And how does she feel about it? Dude, she's married to one of the things I remember, dude, she's married to Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Whether or not anything you want to say about Tony Soprano, I don't give a shit. The whole show, anything you say about him, she's right there beside him.
Yeah.
Okay, look, like Godfather, right? Like he marries Kay, and you remember the end of part 1 where she's like, and I never let you ask me about my business. Okay, just this one time.
Yeah,
which is funny, by the way. Silvio talked about this, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you get the whole, Kay in The Godfather. Kay wasn't stupid either.
No,
Kay knew shit was going. She didn't know details, but she knew shit was going on. In Godfather 2, she leaves him for it.
Yeah.
She has an abortion. Remember, she has an abortion so that she won't give birth to another son.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
again, while The Godfather and The Sopranos are not, the same thing, you have her like, dude, she's not innocent.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. I realize that you're just watching the beginning, but. I mean, clearly, Tony Soprano
it's an intense
Tony
scene.
Soprano is a mob. I mean, you realize he's in the mafia.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you have or haven't seen yet doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The guy's in the mafia.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way he's clean.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Not at all.
So,
not at all.
So let me think. In episode 1, you get. I'm trying to find what all happens. So you get Christopher. Right, he goes into the meat store, blows the dude's brains out.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you learn about him pretty quickly. He's willing to take. He's willing because he wants to be made. So he'll do anything. It seems like he'll do anything to advance himself.
So to clarify again, this is not a spoiler thing. Christopher is Carmela's. He's related to Carmela. Okay. He's not related to Tony. He's related to Carmela.
Oh, that side of the family. Okay.
Right. But Tony has always thought of Christopher as almost like a son. So again, this is an explanation. They'll clarify it later. Yeah. But it helps to know Christopher and Tony are very close. Tony thinks of Christopher as another son, but the only reason I point this out is Christopher talks about him as being his nephew. He's actually only related to Carmela. He's not related to Tony.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't.
Not that it matters.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
No,
but he's related. He's related to Tony. So you meet Junior Soprano.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So Junior is Tony's father's brother.
Yes.
And he was in Godfather 2, by the way.
No shit. I didn't know that.
He's
20 or 25 years prior.
Yeah, it's God, what the hell was his name? I know I should look this up. He is God damn it. He plays Johnny Ola.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Hold on.
That's incredible.
You know what's funny? I never realized it. Like visually. I never realized it visually, despite the billion times I'd seen that movie. I realized it one time I was watching The Godfather 2 and I wasn't in the room. Like I went out to no. What I mean by that is I realized it when I heard it. I just sent you a link to like what he looks like.
Okay.
He was not a big character in the second one, but
I was guessing that because I don't remember the name. But
yeah, if you scroll down on the link I just showed you, like, and I'm sorry, I know people are watching this. They're like, "Why did you show me?" But
it's okay.
It's not you won't so much notice him visually. But you hear him talk, you're like, oh, okay. Oh, wait, that's Junior Soprano.
Yeah.
But so you meet Junior Soprano. I don't really think you meet him. He doesn't do much in the episode.
No, not at first. No, and I
No.
not. I know we're not going to talk about episode 3, but I thought what I thought was cool that happens in episode 3. You see, so I had been wondering about Junior. Because obviously he comes from an older generation, so I'd been wondering, like, okay, what is he like? And you can tell he's way more ruthless than I thought he was.
Well, I mean, he's Tony's father's older brother.
Yeah.
One thing, and again, like I said, for the record, for anybody listening, I will not do any spoilers.
Yeah.
Unless it's not really plot related. Tony and Junior they're very close because Junior used to play baseball with Tony. As silly as that sounds, that's an important.
Yeah, he's a big part of his childhood.
He's a big part of his childhood. He used to play baseball with Tony. And so Tony and Junior have always been close.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I was just scrolling through. It is episode 1 where Christopher says Louis Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Okay.
Instead of it's supposed to be Luca Brasi.
Oh, okay.
If you remember Godfather 1, Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't need to explain The Godfather. But he says that he says, yeah, he fucks it up. Actually, by the way, an ongoing theme of this show is people fucking up like quotes.
Yeah, quotes,
like little things you'll notice through the show. Melfi will tell Tony something, and he will go tell somebody else about it later and completely fuck it up.
Tell the wrong,
like he hears it from Melfi, and now he thinks he's smart, so he'll fuck it up to someone. Like if you watch The Office, Steve Carell used to do that shit all the time.
Yeah,
like the more you pay attention to The Office, the more you notice how many things Steve Carell purposely says wrong.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that. I mean, let's be fair. Christopher's not that fucking bright.
No, he's not.
He's a fucking idiot. I mean, he's a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I mean,
if he wasn't in the mob, he'd be washing dishes or something at some.
No, yeah, he would be a complete fucking idiot, and he certainly wouldn't be banging the hottest piece of ass in the show. No, fuck, no way.
Nor would Tony.
I mean, let's be fair. In real life, the actress who plays his girlfriend was married to one of the guys in Whitesnake. I mean,
yeah.
But okay, so
what does that tell you?
Like Drea De Matteo, the actress. I'm sorry, I hate the word actress. I just use the word actor, but for the sake of whatever.
I think nowadays they prefer to be called actors. I think.
Yeah, I just say I as a member of the International Thespian Society, we always said actor, whatever. But you get my point.
Yeah,
Drea De Matteo she's hysterical. Like if you ever go to that website cameo.com, like you see people who do cameos.
Oh yeah.
Look up any of the ones that Drea does. She's hysterical. Like she's legitimately just funny, and she's gorgeous. And I mean, not my type in any way.
I haven't seen her yet, right? I assume.
She's a you only see her as a hostess.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
In episode 1.
Right. Yeah, she's at the restaurant.
2. She's in episode 2. But like Drea De Matteo is the example of it doesn't matter if she's your type because she's gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like and she's gorgeous it's weird. Like she's gorgeous in every way, right? Especially well, Drea De Matteo herself is gorgeous, but Adriana Lacerva is a character she plays in the show. She's gorgeous in what the hell every way that you can describe, right?
Yeah,
she's got that
just from the 5 seconds I saw her, I can agree with that. Yeah,
the skanky Jersey accent that just you hate to be. You're like, oh god, why is this turning me on? And
I've never even been to New Jersey, but that's okay.
I've been there a couple of times, and I was actually just there this summer.
Yeah.
I saw ghosts there.
Oh, that's right.
But I did.
That's right.
No, actually, no. I saw them in. I think it was in Philadelphia.
Oh, was it? Okay.
No, it might have been over the PA border, but whatever. I was in New Jersey for a couple of days.
Yeah, I remember that.
But anyway, Adriana Lacerva is hard to not like. Oh, I'll tell you another character in the first episode you meet Hesh.
Is he the Jewish guy?
He's the Jewish guy.
Yeah, I've been wondering about him. I'm like, why is everyone Italian except for this one guy?
He's a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Interesting. I found out that they had originally cast or wanted to cast Jerry Stiller, which is fucking. I can't even imagine.
I love Jerry Stiller, but no.
I do too. But
he's too funny. Yeah, he's too funny. No.
So Hesh, again, no spoilers because it doesn't mean anything. Hesh is just he was close to Tony's father. He's very close to Tony.
Yeah.
He
seems like a cool character.
Hesh is one of my favorite characters. There is an episode later on where I won't explain what this means, but he goes, what does he say? He's like, good is good, and this isn't good. Anybody who watches the shows knows what I mean, but you'll find out later what I mean. But like, he was a guy who he makes a shitload of he has a shitload of money. Basically, Hesh was a million years ago. He owned a record label, and basically,
wow,
a whole bunch of black guys made records, and he gave himself writing credits on it, and made just shit tons of money off a bunch of black guys singing gospel music in like the 50s or 60s. That is basically his story.
Yeah. He's a businessman.
Yeah, but he is he's not in their. He's
an associate.
He's not in the family. He's not anything. He's not, he wouldn't be what you would call. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
That he has a shy business. But okay, do you know what the word shy means? You hear that a lot in the show.
Okay.
Shy is short for Shylock. What Shylock is basically I lend you money. I make money off of the interest. That's basically how it means. Sorry.
So he's basically like a business partner with the mob.
Yeah, lack of better terms. He's a good friend of theirs. He's a business partner.
Yeah.
Hesh is great. The problem with the show is who's your favorite character? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Paulie Walnuts is I think everybody's favorite, but I mean seriously, he's fucking. It's so hard to pick a character. I mean, I love Silvio.
Yeah.
I mean, my friends and I are always like, if I was in the mafia, I'd be Silvio, right? Because
which one is Silvio again?
Silvio, it's Little Steven.
Okay. Yeah.
That guy. He is Silvio. So Silvio, for lack of better terms, is like consigliere, which is not really. He's not really consigliere, but that's what he is. Basically, think of him as he's the really loyal, smart guy who's the first guy you want to ask for an opinion, and he owns the titty bar. And fun little fact, again, not a spoiler. His wife in the show is his real life wife, which is fucking awesome. It's so cool. It is so cool that they cast his real life wife as his wife.
That is cool.
Because when you're talking about all the Sopranos wives, his wife is his real wife, which is just, I mean, come on, that's cool. But you got to realize, with one exception, well, hold on. No, yeah, with one exception, they're all married. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all married except for one, except for Paulie. Paulie Walnuts is not married. But the rest of the rest
Chris isn't at the beginning. I don't know if he does.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, he's younger though. But
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Of all the older guys, they're all married.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it seems that okay. Well, I guess I didn't know that for sure. I guess I assumed
but I mean, realistically, you got to figure mafia guys get married because they want to have kids.
Yeah.
They
always have wives.
So do you know what the word Gumar is?
No.
Gumar is their mistress.
Oh.
So anytime you hear someone say they're fucking their Gumar, that's their mistress. Did you? I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out where we are in the episodes. Did you see Tony with some Russian girl?
Yes. Yeah, okay. They're on that boat. I don't know if that's Tony's boat or
Tony's boat. Tony's boat is the Stugatz.
Is that his bang boat, pretty much?
Yeah, basically, dude. What a great porno site that was. But so that Russian it's his Gumar.
Okay.
So anytime you hear them say Gumar, that's what they're referring to. They're referring to the mafia guy's mistress. And with one, and we'll talk about this later, very notable exception. One very notable exception. They all have Gumars. This is what they do. And the wives all fucking know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Carmela mentions that in the first episode.
Oh, yeah. She does not like it. She does not like it.
Oh. And you do very early on in episode 1 see one of who I consider the hotter women of the show. But so you also have the guy who is who owes them money and they run over him.
Yeah.
I love that scene where they make him realize that if he doesn't give him the money, they're going to throw him over the bridge.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. I like that too. They worded it so politely too. Like he goes, hey, why don't we go take a walk, maybe down off those rocks over there?
So good.
We'll help you. And he's like,
so
oh
good.
no. Okay, I'll do what you want.
By the way, another great scene early on in the first episode is when Carmela goes to the soup can and pulls money out of it.
I saw that. I didn't quite know why.
Okay, let me explain to you why. They are a cash only business.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that makes
sense.
So
remember early on in episode 1, Tony explains that he is in waste management.
Yep.
Meaning the job on paper that he has is that he works for Barone. He works for Barone Sanitation. Interesting. Yeah. Funny. That's the same last name as what's the show called? Damn it. Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond. Ray Barone was his name. Go figure.
Yeah.
Look, it's another Italian name. Barone.
Yeah. It's just common, probably.
But yeah. So he works for Barone Sanitation, but clearly he makes loads more money. You got to figure like every mafia guy has to have
management consultant.
Right. He has to have a job on paper.
And Melfi, it takes her like 3 minutes to figure out that he's lying. She says something about like, I know your doctor and you guys are next door neighbors.
Right. Yeah.
And they live in mansions.
Dr. Kuzumano is not only your doctor, but your neighbor.
Yeah. And they live in mansions.
Wow.
Yeah. She's thinking, yeah.
Right.
You don't work at the dump.
Dude. Melfi doesn't pull punches ever.
She figures it out so quick.
I love Melfi. Like yeah. I love Melfi. I think you're supposed to love Melfi.
Yeah.
Because dude, let's go back. I hate to make
even
this
Tony, you can tell by, I don't know, maybe even before the second episode, like Tony loves her. Like, oh my God. It seems like it happens really quick.
Come on, like how
he hates her at first, and then he warms up to her so fast.
When you watch this show again, there's that level of like, I'm a pervert and I just want to blow it on Adriana. What my point is, that sounds like what you think when you go into the show. But what's weird about this show is that you really do kind of get like you get turned on, but not just, I don't just mean like you get turned on like you get turned on.
Yeah.
You get a real attraction for some of the women in this show.
Yeah, you're why can't I find a woman like this?
Like, where
I didn't know I needed this.
Melfi is a great and look, I'll give you an example. Like I've seen a therapist for years. I'm open about that with everybody because quite frankly, I'm a big advocate for people that if you have,
and it's nothing to be ashamed of or to hide.
No, it's not only it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something I completely advocate. I think everybody should do it. Who thinks they need it. I'm a better person. I'm alive today, because my not because I was going to off myself, but what I mean is like I'm alive today because my therapist got me in a position to stop being so stressed out all the time. My anxiety would have killed me.
Yeah.
My point is, like, I think about my relationship with my therapist who, look, she's my age. My point is that like the first time I sat down with her, I was like, oh, you get it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, my therapist is she's a beautiful woman, but it's not like that. It's not like that with me. It's more just like, wow, you get me. So there's that level of you get me.
True.
And with I don't know, man. I watched 30 seconds. First of all, she
accept me and
she reads his bullshit.
Yeah.
Right away.
And that's why she gives them the line like, she gives them the line really quick, like, if you were to ever say anything along these lines, I would have to tell the police. I just want to throw that out there. So she lets him know that she knows that he's not what he says he is, and
she
catches it really fast.
She's smart.
Yeah.
Her ability to keep her composure is crazy.
Yeah.
Her ability to be like, her ability to be, and it's weird too. Like her ability to be really gorgeous, but also come on, dude, blatantly play it down. Like blatantly.
Yeah,
like,
it's not supposed to be that way.
I'm smoking hot, but I'm not going to be that way.
No, that's not the character.
No. I know, which is again, like I said, when I do a show like this, it sounds like I'm just being a pervert. I'm actually saying it's crazy how it's totally the opposite in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
where like you watch her,
different type of attraction.
By the way, I will say though, in my list of like hottest wives in the show, Charmaine, who is Artie Bucco's wife. Artie Bucco is a bald guy. Who owns a restaurant.
Okay, yeah, I know him. His
great. Wife is smoking hot.
Yeah,
his wife is, but again, I'm pointing this out from the perspective of you've got your strippers, you've got your Gumars. I mean, come on, the Russian girl is. I mean, she's
stereotypical hot girls. She's
a gorgeous woman.
Yeah,
clearly, I would never.
Russian women are very attractive.
Yeah, I mean, I would never say anything about them. Yeah. But my point is, what I love, for me, it's just because, like, again, 20 some odd years ago, I'd be like, oh
yeah,
wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Where now is an and I use Adriana. We'll talk about Adriana Lacerva later, but like, she's a great example. Again, she's one of the most drop dead gorgeous women you could ever find. And what I love is that as I've gotten older, I start appreciating someone like Charmaine, who was Artie Bucco's wife. Yeah. I don't know if you necessarily remember her from the episode because she's only in it for like a few seconds, but
she's in episode 2. No, and I think one a little bit. One a little bit, and 2 a little more.
Second or two.
Yeah. She tells Artie that to not accept those tickets.
Oh, right. So okay. Do you understand what's going on there?
I was going to ask you, actually. This is the one thing I think my dumbass hasn't connected in the first couple episodes. Is I don't understand the thing with his restaurant and why they needed to destroy it.
Okay,
I did not figure that out.
In the first 5 episodes or so, whatever, there's a couple of things that might be relatively difficult to understand. One is about who's in charge. We can talk about that in a minute. But
they only briefly gloss over that, so that's understandable. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. Yeah. The other one is this. So this is where it gets kind of sort of confusing. Junior Soprano, Tony's uncle with the glasses, Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, little old man.
He is going to kill Pussy Malenga. Someone else you'll never meet in the show, another guy named Pussy.
Oh.
That's important. Because at one point in time,
don't they briefly show him, right? He's in a wheelchair. They show him he's on the news or something.
Yeah, I mean, the point being is like,
he's going to jail.
He's not really a character.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's Pussy Malenga, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Point being, I think it's him they're going to kill. Sorry, it's been a while, but my point is this: Junior Soprano, Tony's uncle, is going to kill somebody at Artie's restaurant.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Because all the mobsters hang out there.
Right. Think Godfather 1 when they go to Louis' restaurant in the Bronx, right? Yeah. That's where it was. I mean, when he kills.
That's a great scene.
Kills both of, yeah, of course.
Yeah, one of the greatest scenes ever.
With the chain thing,
Yeah.
But so that's what they're going to do. And Junior Soprano says he's comfortable here. So in other words, they're gonna kill him there.
Okay.
But Silvio, early in that episode, comes up to Tony and says, "Didn't you have a friend named Artie Bucco?"
Yeah.
So Artie Bucco grew up with Tony.
Oh,
they've been friends since.
Okay.
They've been friends since grade school. Again, it's stuff that I don't remember how much they say in the first episode. I think they say some of it, but you'll get the point. They grew up together.
Oh, okay.
Tony and Artie Bucco, and Artie's the bald guy.
Yeah.
Who again auditioned to play Tony, but they grew up together. He knew Tony's mom really well. She used to make him peanut butter and jellies, like that kind of thing. They have been like this since they were little kids.
Oh, okay.
Artie Bucco is 1000% not connected.
Nope.
He's not connected.
No.
He kind of wishes he was, but he's not connected.
In fact, his wife does not like mobsters.
Right.
She doesn't want them at the restaurant even.
Right.
Yeah.
Why Charmaine, or Maney, as you'll hear Carmela call her. Yeah, by the way, Charmaine is seriously flat out gorgeous.
She is.
But and again, I point that out because like 20 years ago watching the show when I was young, I was like,
yeah.
And now as an old man, I'm like, oh, I want to.
Yeah. I would have thought the same thing. Yeah.
No, and again, I
where's those fake boobs?
Right?
Let me see the fake tits.
I know that this is a kind of a side, like, funny, goofy shit, but really, it's just funny.
We're not the only ones that think this.
Well, no, come on, dude. I've trust me. I've looked up, the hottest. She's always pretty high on everybody's list.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Well, because dude, she's gorgeous. But but I watched the show and I'm like, man, if Artie had a set of balls, like he would be, But well, anyway. So they were good friends growing up. Junior's going to kill someone at his restaurant. And Tony knows if that happens, it will ruin Artie's business.
Yep.
So I think it was Syl. But anyway, Tony tries to tell him, go away. Just get the fuck out of town for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
If you get out of town for a couple of weeks and close the restaurant, Junior has to kill him somewhere else.
Yeah.
So and Charmaine stops Artie from taking the comp tickets.
Oh, and so I see. Okay, so Syl burns the place down, so none of this has to happen.
Exactly.
And he'll collect insurance. Like, okay.
That's all this. That is, like I said, there's two things from the first couple episodes that are confusing.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Again, Syl's gonna burn the place down so Artie can get. Realistically, they're helping him.
Yeah,
they're helping him twice.
They saw that as the best solution to this problem.
Number one, they're helping him by no one getting shot in his store,
and they all love him. You can tell, like they all love him.
Well, they love his restaurant. Tony and him are very close.
Yeah,
and they all love his restaurant. Vesuvio is you got to figure too. Again, dude, Christopher Moltisanti at one point in the show goes, again, it's not a plot point. I will not say anything plot related. At one point in time, he goes, all we do is eat. Like it, which is, by the way, a funny story in real life. I read that it was an episode of the show where they're like eating nonstop, and Christopher has a line like, "Is all we ever do is eat." As soon as they were done serving it, Mario Batali, like the famous chef, shows up on set to cook them all dinner, and they're like, "Fuck, we just ate our asses off." That's like a true story, but
that's funny.
Anyway, they love Vesuvio. They love Vesuvio.
Yeah, I can see that.
But all those gangsters hang out there.
Yeah.
But it's a restaurant that's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
I want to say Artie's father and maybe his grandfather, I think it was at least his father, maybe his grandfather, all cooked in that kitchen.
Oh, wow.
So Vesuvio is very popular.
Yeah.
But so Tony not only saves him from having his business ruined, but he gets him a fucking an insurance payout, which is probably going to be more than what the restaurant is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So that's what I would say is the hardest part to understand.
Yeah, they might not have illustrated that as well as I would have thought. Because even on my second watch, I still didn't catch on to that part.
No, yeah. There are, admittedly, there are plenty of things that you'll catch more as you watch them more than once.
Yeah, definitely.
But okay, so he something else he does is he tells Carmela that he's seeing a therapist in the first episode.
Yeah, I
love that he's like, I'm telling you because you're the only person who I'm completely honest with, and she just like rolls her eyes.
Yeah, she's like, she totally does.
She's like bullshit, dude.
Yeah,
completely bullshit. Like, that's
and he is
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, what I love about that is because she knows, like, she's fucking completely complicit the whole time.
She didn't buy that for a second.
But did you notice something? Did you notice when? Maybe you did. And so this is less like, did you notice? Because did you notice when? Hold on, I got to see how she says it. I'm trying to find the.
I still have it in my head, definitely.
So when she says, he goes, I've been seeing a therapist.
Yep.
She's like, I think that's great.
Yep.
I think that's so wonderful. I think it's so gutsy.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. Hold on. he's like, I think you thought I was Hannibal Lecter, which is great, but where's the I'm trying to think. She said psychology doesn't help the soul.
Doesn't help the soul, yeah. But it's a step in the right direction or something.
Which again is a
religious thing,
Catholic thing.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find exactly how she says it. He's like, the only person I'm trying to like scroll through this.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, goddamn it, I'm serious. Anybody finds out about this? Okay,
I'll get a steel jacket to the back of the head.
Yep, I swear she says that in this scene. Come on, where is it? Is it in the scene? All right, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were so unhappy. Come on, scroll forward. Let me get this. I don't want to say something if it's not.
Yeah.
If it's not inappropriate. My mother. Okay, she looks at him and says, "You told him about your father."
Oh yeah, did you? Yep. Did you tell him about your father? Yep. And he says, "Well, of course," or something like that.
Yeah. But did you notice what she said?
She said, "Did you tell him?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, why did she assume that?
She assumes it's a guy.
Yeah.
She assumes it's a guy.
Yeah.
And he rolls with it.
Yeah, he doesn't correct her.
No,
yeah.
He doesn't correct her.
I did notice that. Yeah.
So again, important little
I figured that had to have some some reason.
Not to say it has like, major problem, with the show, but on the other hand, it's a he doesn't want to tell his wife that he's seeing a female therapist. So that's basically episode 1.
Yeah.
You have Christopher talking, like Christopher's already like not sure if he wants to do it. He's talking about like selling a screenplay, which to me at this point in the show is kind of funny because all I can think about Christopher is, wow, he's an idiot.
Well, he wanted to rub that in Tony's face and to be like, hey, I have options here,
The funny thing is, though, he's like, I have options. It's like, dude, they can't be very good because
no
one in the right mind.
I even half wondered if he was making that up.
Well, maybe, but I love when they early on in the second episode when they get the guy in the semi truck, and he's like, I can't be unscathed. Well, you want scathed? We'll give you scathed. That's one of those.
The part is hilarious.
I thought
I need this job, funny. Dude.
I need this job. We'll get you scathed.
Yeah.
Like it's. I'll get you scathed. To me, that's just funny. They talk about his AJ's teacher's Saturn.
That was pretty hilarious. Stolen.
Which, okay, I will say this. That is the first example that I can think of when from this point on, one of the fun parts about The Sopranos is noticing the obnoxious level of product placement in the show.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
It's obnoxious.
They point out numerous times, not just car, but they call it a Saturn.
Yeah, they call it a Saturn multiple times.
Because that was around the time when Saturn was up and coming,
It was, yeah. I mean, Saturn.
Now.
Yeah, they're gone now. They back in the mid to late 90s, that's when Saturn had the doors with the plastic sides, so you couldn't dent them. I actually used to work for that company, go figure. But like they
were affordable and all this.
Yeah, they were affordable. You could get like 400,000 miles on them. Yeah. But what's the point is, as you start watching the show, one of the greatest examples in the show of product placement is every time they're in the kitchen, when if they open the refrigerator, it will be an entire refrigerator of one brand. They will be like, here, I'm drinking a beer.
Just like Wayne's World.
It's like the scene. Literally, it is like the scene in Wayne's World.
Yeah,
and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Wow.
There's a scene later on, again, it's not plot related, where they have an entire conversation in a car, and in the background you see the logo of the store they're sitting in front of, and like it's a useless scene, but you can see the whole thing.
Yeah,
like it gets really bad. Like you will see them every episode once you get to season 2, especially that in the kitchen, it's just all products. It's so funny.
Damn,
it's so funny. That's one of the first ones that you see. I mean, he's got a Miller Genuine Draft, but I mean, I don't know if that's really a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got the guy at the club who can't work a phone. You got his mother that can't work a phone.
Yeah, that guy's funny.
You've got. I love Paulie Walnuts when they're at the coffee shop and he's like, oh,
his little rant.
His little rant about how they ripped off Italian. Paulie Walnuts is hilarious. Paulie Walnuts
it's like he's looking at everything like, how can I make some money off the situation?
You know? It's such a great.
I like how at the end of that, as they leave, he steals that coffee thing.
It's one of those things with the people on the show, like doesn't matter however much money they make, they're always going to steal whatever because they don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the first time you meet, though I'll briefly, Jackie Aprile, who is the current boss, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the current boss. Otherwise, I think for the most part, that's there's not a whole lot left in episode 2.
No.
That's pretty much it.
I think episode 2, you find out that he has cancer.
Pretty much, yeah.
But they elaborate
the
on
boss
that
has
later.
cancer, and it's going to go from there. I think it's pretty much episodes 1 and 2. I think if you watch the next 2 episodes, we can pick this up, soon.
Yeah. So. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Been fun.
Dude.
Cool, man. I mean, I don't know if you want to just can it now, and we can come back later. But hey, been fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna rewatch, and if you want, next time we can do 3 episodes.
Works for me. 3, 4, and 5. I can do it. Yeah, because 5's important, so we'll watch it.
Okay, cool.
All right, man.
Can't wait.
All right,
Thanks for coming on,
later.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. See ya. Ending stream. Woohoo.